The year was 2294, and the United States had become the center of humanity's greatest scientific leap. For decades, Earth had struggled with overcrowded cities, dwindling oceans, and vanishing forests. Even the most advanced climate systems could no longer keep up. America's scientific institutions, NASA, the New Horizons Initiative, and the Global Terraforming Council, had joined forces in a final attempt to secure humanity's future. Dr. Ethan Walker stood inside the polished glass hall of the Genesis Research Facility in Nevada, staring at the enormous silver structure resting at the center of the dome. It was more than a ship. Its curved hull shimmered with a faint blue aura, reflecting the lights like ripples on calm water. This was Astra 1, the first interstellar terraforming vessel ever built by humankind. Ethan ran a hand across the holo display floating beside him. "We're not just building a ship," he whispered to himself. "We're building new worlds." Behind him, footsteps approached. Dr. Olivia Reed, head of atmospheric engineering, folded her arms with a hopeful smile. "You're talking to the ship again," she teased softly. "Should I be worried?" Ethan chuckled. "Let me have this moment. We've been dreaming of this since college." "I know." Olivia stepped beside him, her voice warm. 20 years of work, hundreds of American scientists, billions in funding, and now the president wants a full demonstration in 8 months. No pressure. Ethan exhaled slowly. Astra 1 has to work. If we fail, Earth has nowhere left to expand. Across the facility, technicians, engineers, and AI specialists were scattered like tiny dots in a grand orchestra. Every panel, every machine, every spark of energy inside Astra 1 was the result of collaboration from laboratories across the United States: Boston, Houston, Seattle, Chicago, and San Francisco. America had poured its entire scientific backbone into the project. The ship's greatest marvel was the Geopulse engine, designed by Dr. Marcus Hale from MIT. It was capable of restructuring planetary crusts, forming continents, shaping oceans, and generating geothermal cycles. The second miracle machine, the Atmos Seeder, had been Olivia's lifetime achievement. It could create breathable atmospheres from barren chemical wastelands. And finally, the Biomatrix core, engineered by the reclusive genius Dr. Noah Carter, could ignite the first sparks of microbial life. Together, these systems could turn dead planets into Earth-like paradises. Later that night, as the desert winds brushed against the silent facility, the 4 scientists gathered in the main operations room. The screens glowed soft, painting their faces with shades of blue. Marcus leaned forward, adjusting his glasses. "Tomorrow is the first full-scale launch simulation. If Astra 1 performs as predicted, we're cleared for deployment to the Vora Prime star system." Olivia tapped her fingers nervously. "It still feels unreal. Terraforming planets, creating worlds. My God, the responsibility alone." "It's what America does," Noah interrupted, his tone calm but firm. "We lead. We innovate. We push boundaries so that humanity doesn't die trapped on one planet." Ethan looked at each of them, the weight of history settling on his shoulders. "We're not just saving Americans. We're saving every future generation of humans." The room fell silent. Astra 1 launched 2 months later from Kennedy Space Launch Complex, rising into the sky with a golden tail of plasma. Millions of citizens across the nation watched the broadcast with teary eyes, waving flags, chanting, praying. For the first time in human history, a ship was leaving the solar system not to explore, but to create. The journey to Vora Prime took 3 years through folded space. Inside the vessel, Ethan, Olivia, Marcus, Noah, and the entire American-led crew lived in artificial daylight cycles, working endlessly, perfecting machines, recalibrating systems, and preparing for the first real transformation of an alien world. When Astra 1 finally emerged from hyperspace, the crew gasped in awe. Vora 3 hung in the blackness like a dusty marble, dry, cracked, silent. No oceans, no clouds, a dead world waiting for resurrection. Olivia whispered, "It's like a blank canvas." "And we're the painters," Ethan replied. They deployed the machines. The geopulse engine descended first, drilling deep into the crust. The ground trembled. Valleys shifted. Mountains lifted. Soon, a blue mist rose from the vents as the atmosphere began working. Days turned to weeks. The planet's color slowly changed from lifeless gray to soft green. 3 years later, Bora, 3 looked like Earth's twin: blue oceans, white clouds, lush continents. America celebrated the triumph with fireworks that lit the skies from Washington, D.C. to Los Angeles. But the mission was far from over. Astra 1 moved to Torin 5, then Helios 7, and Kara 2. Planet after planet bloomed with forests, winds, rains, rivers, reborn through human hands. By their 10th year in space, the crew had created more Earth-like worlds than anyone could have imagined. Humanity had a future, yet something gnawed at Ethan's mind. One evening he stood alone in the observation chamber, gazing at the star-speckled horizon. Something felt wrong. Too easy, too quiet. Space was vast, but it was not empty. They were rewriting galaxies. Someone, somewhere, must be watching. He was right. And soon, humanity would face a consequence no scientist had predicted. Marcus Hale soon entered the deck, his lab coat trailing behind him. "We got the atmospheric scans," he announced. 3 planets in the cluster can be terraformed. 2 have stable crusts. 1 even has frozen water beneath the surface. Technically, it's perfect. Noah Carter followed close behind. "But something else is in the data," he added quietly. "Something intelligent." The 4 scientists stared at one another. Astra 1 had always been monitored by distant Earth stations, Houston Command being the primary. Communication lag was terrible, often hours long, but Ethan sent a detailed briefing to the American command base anyway. He hoped for guidance, or at least a reassurance. He received neither. Instead, Houston replied with a single directive: proceed with mission. It was the American way: bold, forward, unstoppable. And yet, for the first time since their journey began, Ethan felt uncertainty. That night, in the living quarters section, the crew gathered for their usual communal dinner. Soft country music, an old American tradition, played from the intercom, a comforting reminder of home. Plates clattered, conversations flowed, laughter echoed across the hall. But beneath the warmth lay an invisible tension. Lieutenant Sarah Mitchell, head of navigation, sipped her coffee and leaned toward Ethan. "The team's nervous," she admitted. "We're entering a system none of our telescopes fully understood. Half the star maps are theoretical." Ethan sighed. "We've come too far to turn back. Earth's relying on us." "Yeah, I know," Sarah breathed. "But does Earth even understand what we're doing out here? We're rewriting entire planets like it's nothing." She wasn't wrong. The power they carried was unimaginable. They could create seas, raise mountains, breathe life into dead worlds. But such power came with shadowed consequences. The next morning, Astra 1 entered the outer edge of the Zerath cluster. The stars here were colder, dimmer. The space between them felt thick, like some unseen force wrapped around the ship. "Engage long-range scanners," Ethan ordered. Sarah's fingers danced across the interface. "Scanning, scanning. I'm getting something. Multiple heat signatures. They're not planets, not asteroids either." Marcus frowned. "What exactly are they?" Sarah swallowed hard. "Structures." Ethan turned sharply. "Structures?" "Artificial ones. Complex, massive, like floating cities." The crew fell silent. They had encountered life across the galaxy in microbial forms, primitive organisms, strange plants, but never anything like this. No civilization, no advanced intelligence. Never before had humanity stood face to face with something like itself. "Bring it on the main screen," Ethan said softly. A holographic projection filled the command deck, a cluster of dark, elegant constructs drifting through space. They looked like enormous spirals of metallic stone and shimmering blue energy. They pulsed slowly, like living hearts. Olivia whispered, "They're beautiful." Noah didn't move. "Beauty isn't the point. Intelligence is. They built these. Someone is out there." Before Ethan could speak, Astra One shuddered violently. Warning alarms blared. Sarah slammed her hands on the console. Something just scanned us. High-frequency energy wave, unknown origin. Ethan's blood ran cold. Shields up! But before the shields could fully activate, a voice, not human, not electronic, echoed throughout the ship. A harmonic vibration resonated in every wall, every panel, every cell of the crew's bodies. It wasn't spoken language. It was something deeper, like an idea forced into their minds. You reshape what is not yours. Olivia stumbled back, clutching her head. What? What is that? It's inside my mind. Noah gasped, gripping the table. This isn't communication. It's intrusion. Ethan stood firm, though his heart thundered. Identify yourself. The harmonic voice echoed again. You alter worlds. You disrupt balance. You change what must not be changed. A blinding blue light enveloped the ship. The crew shielded their eyes. As the light faded, a figure materialized on the command deck. It wasn't solid, more like a shifting form of luminescent energy, vaguely humanoid, but impossible to define. Sarah whispered in horror. Oh my God! The being looked at them without eyes, yet somehow it saw everything. We are the Zenithians, it resonated. Guardians of natural creation. Watchers of cosmic balance. Ethan found his voice. We are from Earth, from the United States of America. We don't mean harm. We're trying to save our species. The being pulsed brighter. Your species takes worlds and reshapes them in its image. That is harm. Marcus stepped forward. We only terraform barren planets. Dead worlds. The being turned toward him. No world is dead. All matter is part of the cosmic cycle. You have changed 4 already. You will change more. This cannot continue. The air on the deck grew heavy. Ethan felt a chill crawl up his spine. What do you want from us? The Zenithian answered with a cold, resonant finality. You will stop, or you will be stopped. Astra One suddenly jerked as if grabbed by an invisible hand. Systems malfunctioned. Lights flickered. The hull groaned under pressure. Olivia screamed, They're taking control of the ship! Sarah shouted, Ethan, we have to retreat! Ethan stared at the luminous figure, heart pounding. His worst fear had come true. Humanity was not alone. And now they had crossed a line they never should have crossed. Astra One trembled under the invisible grip of the Zenithians. Panels sparked. Hollow screens flickered with chaotic patterns. The engines roared as if struggling against a force as old as the universe itself. Ethan clung to the command console, shouting over the screaming alarms. Stabilize the ship, Sarah Mitchell tried, her fingers flying desperately across the controls. They're overriding everything. Navigation is offline. Thrusters offline. Geopulse engine is locked. Noah Carter slammed his fist against the panel. They're inside the system code. They're rewriting commands in real time. The glowing Zenithian figure stood calmly in the center of the deck, untouched by the chaos. Its voice rang through their minds again, harmonic, ancient, and unbending. You reshape the fabric of creation. The balance must be restored. Ethan stepped forward, anger rising in his chest. You don't understand what we're doing. Earth is dying. Humanity is running out of time. We created new worlds to survive. The Zenithian pulsed faintly. Survival does not grant the right to control destiny. Lightning-like energy flickered along the ship's walls as the creature strengthened its hold. Olivia Reed stumbled to her knees, clutching her head. It's pushing into the environmental systems. Ethan, if they overload the terraforming modules, they could explode. Suddenly, the lights went dark. For a moment, everything was silent. Ethan's heartbeat echoed in his ears. He could hear Olivia breathing shakily, Marcus cursing under his breath, Noah struggling to keep balance. Then, faint emergency lights flickered back on, casting red shadows across the deck. Sarah whispered, voice trembling, We lost communication with Houston. Noah scanned the remaining systems. We lost communication with everything. The Zenithian observed them, unmoved. You cannot be allowed to continue disrupting the cycle. Ethan stepped closer, refusing to show fear. We are not enemies. You change planets into copies of your own, the being responded. You spread your presence without understanding the consequences. Marcus snapped, unable to hold back. We're giving dead worlds life. Isn't that good? A cold vibration rippled through the deck. Life is not yours to bestow. Evolution chooses its own path. Not machines, not humans. Olivia rose shakily. If we stop terraforming, humanity dies. Billions of people, men, women, children. Do you expect us to just give up? The Zenithian dimmed slightly, as if contemplating her words. It moved closer to Olivia, its form warping like living stardust. When it spoke, its tone was softer. We know loss. We have seen worlds fall. We have seen species vanish. We have endured cycles older than your star. Ethan felt something shift in the air. Less hostility, more sorrow. But the moment shattered when the ship convulsed violently. Sarah screamed, "We're being pulled toward the central Zenithian structure. It's dragging us in." The holographic map confirmed it. Astra 1 was being drawn like a toy toward one of the massive glowing spirals they'd seen earlier. Noah shouted, "If we get inside that thing, we'll be torn apart." Ethan grabbed Sarah's arm. "Divert whatever power we have to the emergency thrusters." "They're locked. I can't get control." "Wait." Sarah gasped as a new signal flashed across her console. "It's coming from Earth," she whispered, stunned. "From Houston Command." Marcus rushed to her side. "That's impossible. We lost long-range communications." "No, they're using narrow-band quantum relay. Extremely low range. They must be boosting power from the lunar array." Ethan nodded. "Put them through." Static crackled. Then a voice broke through, faint but unmistakable. "General Rebecca Lawson, commander of the Global Terraforming Council." A fierce, commanding American voice. "Astra 1, this is Houston Command. Do you read?" Ethan almost collapsed with relief. "General, we hear you. The Zenithians have taken control of the ship. We're being dragged into some kind of—" "I know," Lawson cut in sharply. "We've intercepted Zenithian activity across multiple bands. They know what you're doing. They know about the terraformed planets. They see Astra 1 as a threat." Ethan felt the truth sink in like a stone. "This isn't just about us," he murmured. "It's about every world we changed." Lawson's voice grew grim. "Listen carefully. You cannot let them take the ship. The technology on Astra 1, if they reverse engineer it, they could undo everything we've achieved, possibly even use it against Earth." Olivia's eyes widened with horror. "Undo? You mean they could destroy the planets we terraformed?" "Yes," Lawson said. "They could erase everything." A violent jolt threw Marcus across the deck. Sparks erupted from the ceiling. Alarms blared again. Sarah cried, "The Zenithian structure is seconds away." The luminous being flickered sharply, as if angered by the Earth transmission. "Your interference threatens the cosmic flow. It must be silenced." Noah's voice trembled. "Ethan, we're out of time." Ethan made a decision that broke something inside him. "Sarah," he ordered, "activate the emergency separation protocol." Her eyes shot wide. "Ethan, that would detach the entire terraforming bay. The geopulse engine, the Atmos seeder, the biomatrix core." "I know." Marcus grabbed his arm. "Are you out of your mind? That's everything we worked for." Ethan met his gaze with fierce determination. "If we don't, humanity dies." The Zenithian turned toward him, its light sharpened like a blade. "You dare defy the balance?" Ethan didn't blink. "We dare survive." Sarah hesitated only one more second. Then her hand slammed down on the controls. A deafening metallic screech echoed through the ship as explosive bolts fired. The entire terraforming bay, thousands of tons of machinery, detached from Astra 1 and was blown backward into space. The Zenithians shrieked, a sound that rattled their bones. The pull weakened. The ship drifted off course. The luminous figure flickered violently. Olivia gasped, "It's destabilizing!" Before they could react, the Zenithian erupted in a burst of blinding blue energy and vanished. Astra 1 went silent. No movement, no alarms. Only the heavy breaths of a terrified crew. Ethan staggered into the captain's chair as Sarah whispered the dreadful truth. We lost the terraforming technology, and we made the Zenithians our enemies. Noah stared out the window at the massive Zenithian structure pulsing ominously in the distance. They won't let us go, he said quietly. Not after this. And Ethan knew he was right. Humanity had taken its first step into a war it never meant to start. The aftermath felt like drifting inside a dream made of broken glass. Astra One floated in the dark, no longer the proud terraforming titan it had once been. A massive piece of its heart, the entire terraforming bay, was gone, tumbling somewhere in the cold abyss behind them. Ethan stared at the empty holographic bay display, the blue grid flickering with a blinking red missing indicator. Marcus Hayes leaned against a railing, his face pale with disbelief. 10 years, he whispered. 10 years of work, research, engineering, gone, just gone. Olivia Reed moved to his side and put a hand on his shoulder, her voice soft and trembling. Marcus, we didn't have a choice. If the Zenithians got those systems, they wouldn't have just destroyed them, Noah muttered bitterly as he paced the deck. They could have reversed the entire terraforming sequence back on the planets. They could strip life, unmake oceans, wipe everything clean. Ethan turned away from the display, staring out through the wide viewing window. The Zenithian structure loomed in the distance, an ancient, silent sentinel. But its pulsing lights were different now, sharper, colder. They were awake and angry. Sarah Mitchell studied her console nervously. Ethan, they're scanning the debris, the bayou detached. They're trying to understand what they lost. Do we have any propulsion left? Ethan asked. Minimal, Sarah replied. Enough to move. Not enough to escape the cluster. They were trapped. A sharp static burst erupted from the ship's communication system. A distorted voice crackled through, barely recognizable under layers of interference. Astra One, this is Houston Command. Report status. Ethan rushed to the console. General Lawson, we're alive. We lost the terraforming systems, but we're still operational. The Zenithians, static drowned the rest. The signal weakened, faded, and vanished. Olivia exhaled shakily. They're jamming communications. Marcus slammed his fist against the wall. They're playing with us, like we're insects. Noah stopped pacing and looked at Ethan, dread in his eyes. They're testing us, studying us. They want to know how far humans are willing to go to survive. Ethan's voice hardened. They're about to find out. Before anyone could respond, a shimmering ripple appeared outside the ship, a distortion in space itself. Light twisted, matter bent. And then a vessel emerged from the distortion, gliding silently toward them. It wasn't like anything human. Its hull was liquid silver, constantly shifting, as if it were alive. Its wings stretched outward like curved blades of light. It moved with the elegance of a thought, not a machine. Sarah's voice shook. It's a Zenithian combat vessel. Olivia stepped closer to the window, breath trembling. How many do they have? Noah's face hardened. Enough to wipe us out. The alien ship stopped 50 meters from Astra One. Lights along its body blinked in a rhythmic pattern. Slow, deliberate, calculating. Then another ripple tore open. A second vessel appeared, then a third, and a fourth. Soon a fleet surrounded Astra One, dozens of Zenithian ships, forming a glowing halo around the crippled American vessel. We're surrounded, Marcus whispered. Noah added grimly, they aren't here to negotiate. Ethan stared at the alien fleet, his jaw clenched. We need to get out of this cluster, even if it kills us. He turned sharply. Sarah, prepare a microjump, whatever distance we can manage. Sarah hesitated. Ethan, the engines are damaged. If we jump and the system misfires, we could rip the ship apart. We don't have a choice, Ethan said. If we stay here, the Zenithians will finish what they started. Marcus stepped forward. I can stabilize the quantum flux chamber. It's risky, but I can try. Do it, Ethan ordered. Marcus hurried out of the deck, Olivia following close behind. Noah stayed behind, staring at the alien fleet with narrowed eyes. This is exactly what America feared. Noah murmured. Not that aliens existed, but that they would challenge our right to expand. Ethan didn't respond. He was watching the Zenithian vessels, trying to understand them. Their movements were synchronized, graceful, almost ritualistic. These were not conquerors. They were guardians, bound by purpose as strong as humanity's own survival instinct. Ethan whispered, "They think they're protecting the universe." Noah scoffed. "At the cost of ours." Minutes later, Marcus returned, sweat on his forehead. "Okay, the flux chamber is stable for now, but we only have enough power for one short jump. After that, the engines will need hours to cool." Ethan nodded and turned to Sarah. "Plot a jump anywhere outside the Zenithian grid." Sarah's fingers shook as she worked. Quantum coordinates locked. The ship groaned as power rerouted through the quantum coils. Lights flickered. Panels dimmed. The hum of the ship deepened into a low, vibrating growl. The alien vessels reacted instantly. Their lights brightened. Their formations shifted. Energy signatures spiked. "They know we're about to jump," Sarah shouted. The Zenithians coordinated, their ships encircling Astra One tighter. Noah yelled, "Ethan, if they hit us mid-jump—" "We jump anyway," Ethan shouted. "Now!" Sarah slammed her hand on the ignition panel. Astra One lurched violently as the quantum engine fired. Space folded inward, swallowing the ship in a burst of white-blue light. For one terrifying moment, everything stretched. Time, sound, reality itself. Then darkness, silence, and finally, light. Astra One reappeared in a quiet, empty region of space, far from the Zenithian cluster. Olivia gasped with relief. "We made it!" But the celebration died instantly as alarms erupted across the deck. "No, no, no!" Sarah whispered, eyes wide with horror. "Something followed us." Outside the window, a single Zenithian vessel drifted into view. Larger than the others, its lights burning brighter, its energy readings off the scale. Ethan felt his stomach drop. "That's not a combat ship," Noah said slowly. Olivia stared at it, terrified. "Then what is it?" The vessel pulsed once. A voice filled their minds, deeper, older, more powerful than any they had heard. "You cannot escape the consequences of creation." Ethan's blood ran cold. The real war was about to begin. The news of the Zenithians' betrayal spread through the coalition like wildfire. At first, many believed it was only a rumor, something impossible from a civilization once saved by Earth's hand. But as intercepted transmissions emerged, cold, concise, and unmistakably hostile, no one could deny the truth anymore. The Zenithians were preparing for war. The first blow came without warning. A remote Terrascaper outpost orbiting the exoplanet Lyra was erased in a single white flash. There were no distress calls, no survivors, no debris, just a silent void where the facility had once been. When Earth received the telemetry, it was already too late. Inside the Terrascaper command dome, the atmosphere was thick with tension. Admiral Evelyn Hart paced across the holotable, her sharp blue eyes fixed on the projections of Zenithian warships moving in formation. The vessels were monstrous, sleek silver arcs powered by reactors Earth had helped them build. Her voice was low and controlled, but a tremor of disbelief cracked through it. "They're using our terraforming cores," she whispered. "They weaponize them." Across the table, Dr. Aaron Reed's jaw clenched. "Evelyn, they modified the fusion drives. Those things weren't meant for destruction." "Intentions don't matter now," General Marcus Hale snapped. His deep voice reverberated across the chamber. "They strike once, they'll strike again." Behind him, Commander Lily Dawson stared at the rotating projection of Zenith Prime, the world they had transformed together. "But why would they do this?" she murmured. "We gave them an entire planet. We saved them." Marcus exhaled slowly. "Power shifts people, entire civilizations. They don't need saviors anymore. They want dominance." Evelyn stopped pacing. "We have to respond." Aaron Reed shook his head. "No, we respond, and this becomes a war that spans galaxies, maybe even ends the Terrascaper program forever." "Maybe that's already decided," Marcus replied flatly. Silence hung over them like a weight. 3 days later, the Zenithians struck again. But this time, Earth was ready. In orbit above the moon Europa, the Terrascaper defense fleet formed a shimmering blockade, a metallic crescent bristling with ion artillery and gravity shields. The lead vessel, the USS Horizon, commanded by Admiral Hart herself, glided at the front like a silver spear. Inside the Horizon's bridge, the lights dimmed to a battle red. "Zenithian warships exiting FTL," a technician called out. 42 signatures. The view screen erupted in blinding flashes as the enemy fleet emerged, glimmering blade-shaped ships unfurling energy wings like predatory birds. "Open channels," Evelyn ordered. A moment later, a Zenithian commander appeared in shimmering hologram. His face was expressionless, smooth metallic skin, crystalline eyes, faint symbols glowing across his forehead. "Admiral Hart," he said, his tone chillingly calm. "We gave your planet time to retreat. You refuse. Now we secure what is ours." "You're claiming systems we terraformed with you," Evelyn shot back. "Worlds we shared." "What was shared," the Zenithian replied, "is now reclaimed. Earth is obsolete." Lily Dawson's fists tightened behind Evelyn. "You're making a mistake. You don't have to do this." The Zenithian tilted his head. "Evolution demands conflict. If you will not surrender, you will be silenced." The transmission cut. Marcus Hale's voice thundered through the bridge. "All units, prepare for engagement." The first battle of the Zenith War began with a roar of blue fire. Earth's ion cannons ignited the void with crosshatch streams of plasma. Zenithian ships countered with pulsating beams that twisted like silver serpents, bending around shields with impossible precision. The Horizon shook violently. "Shields at 63%. Forward battery overheating. Atmos fusion drive destabilizing." "Hold formation," Evelyn shouted. "Focus fire on their left flank." But the Zenithians moved like ghosts. Their ships bent space around themselves, slipping through firing lanes like reflections on rippling water. A massive explosion lit the dark. One of Earth's frigates, the Vigilant Dawn, split apart in a cascade of molten metal, scattering debris across Europa's orbit. Lily gasped. Aaron shut his eyes for a moment, shaking his head in grief. Marcus slammed his hand on the console. "They're targeting our Terrascaper cores. If they detonate, the entire fleet goes up." Evelyn's voice cut through the panic. "Redirect power to defensive lattices, seal off the lower decks, and keep firing." The Horizon surged forward. Through the window, a colossal Zenithian dreadnought descended, its hull glowing with terrifying luminescence. Aaron Reed stared at it, horrified. "They've built a dark fusion engine," he whispered. "That thing could collapse the entire orbital zone." Evelyn set her jaw. "Then we take it out." The Horizon's cannons unleashed a storm of energy, carving molten scars into the dreadnought's armor. But the Zenithian vessel responded with a pulse of white plasma, an expanding sphere that shattered 2 Earth cruisers instantly. The Horizon was thrown sideways, alarms screaming. "We're losing power. Backup generators failing. Reactor breach imminent." Evelyn gripped the railing. "Not today. Lily, stabilize us. Marcus, charge the rail platform. Aaron, prepare the disruption wave." Aaron spun toward her. "That's still experimental. If it backfires..." "It won't," Evelyn snapped. "Do it." Aaron nodded. "For Earth." The Horizon steadied itself. Then with a thunderous burst of light, it released the disruption wave, an expanding ripple of destabilized energy designed to scramble the dark fusion engine. The dreadnought's luminous core flickered. Its glowing patterns dissolved. Then, a blinding implosion. The Zenithian dreadnought folded inward like collapsing glass and vanished into a white singularity. Cheers erupted across the Horizon's bridge. Marcus grinned. "That's how it's done." But Aaron didn't celebrate. "They'll be back," he whispered. "We only won the opening battle." Evelyn stared at the empty place where the dreadnought had been. "And the real war hasn't even begun." Hours later, the Zenithian fleet retreated into slipspace, leaving Earth's forces battered but alive. In the command chamber, Evelyn addressed her crew with a weary but determined voice. "This wasn't victory. This was a warning. The Zenithians intend to conquer the systems we built together. And they won't stop until Earth is broken. Aaron stepped forward. Then we need to reach their leaders. Show them cooperation is still possible. Marcus crossed his arms. Or crush them before they crush us? Lily looked between them, uncertainty clouding her gaze. Whatever we do next, she said softly, it will decide the fate of every world we've touched. Evelyn nodded, and far beyond the solar system, in the cold depths of zenith space, a far greater threat had already awakened, one that would soon make the war far deadlier than any of them imagined. The Zenithian War did not end in fire. It ended in silence. For weeks after the first major battle, Earth and the Coalition prepared for the Zenithians' return. Every outpost was fortified, every Terrascaper ship upgraded, every scientist drafted into emergency research. Yet as the days dragged into months, something strange happened. The Zenithians did not strike again. Their space went dark. No transmissions, no patrols, no signs of movement. A civilization once burning with ambition had suddenly vanished. Dr. Aaron Reed became the first to suggest what no one else wanted to say aloud. We broke something. Not their ship, not their fleet, something inside them. But the truth was far more complicated. When long-range probes finally penetrated Zenithian territory, what they found shocked the whole coalition. City after city lay abandoned, lights dim, infrastructure intact. But the people, gone. No bodies, no signs of war, just a haunting emptiness. The Zenithians had retreated inward. A secret message arrived on Earth 2 months later. It was a single line of Zenithian glyphs, encoded in a pattern only Terrascaper AI could translate. Come, alone. The coordinates pointed to Zenith Prime, the very world Earth had terraformed for them decades ago. A world that once shone as a symbol of unity. Now it pulsed like a dying star. The Coalition Council argued for days, but Admiral Evelyn Hart ended the debate with one sentence. If they wanted to destroy us, they would have already done it. And so the USS Horizon set off, carrying Evelyn, Aaron Reed, Commander Lily Dawson, and General Marcus Hale. 4 humans representing every part of Earth: science, diplomacy, exploration, and defense. As the Horizon descended toward Zenith Prime, clouds of silver fog curled around the ship in unnatural patterns. The atmosphere seemed uncertain, as if the planet itself was deciding whether to let them in. The landing zone was the same place where Zenithian delegates once celebrated the success of Earth's terraforming technology, but now the plaza was filled with millions of Zenithians, standing perfectly still. Waiting. Lily whispered, I thought they were gone. Aaron felt a chill. They weren't gone. They were preparing. The Zenithian High Chancellor moved forward, his crystalline eyes dimmed with a strange sadness. Humans of Earth, he said, his voice echoing through the plaza, we summoned you not to continue war, but to end it. Marcus's hand hovered near his sidearm. Evelyn stepped forward cautiously. You attacked our people, destroyed our outposts. Why call us here now? The Chancellor lowered his head. We believe power was owed to us. After all, you reshaped worlds. You remade destinies. You took barren planets and breathed life into them. We feared you more than we feared the void. He paused. And fear makes tyrants of the weak. Even Marcus remained silent. The Chancellor looked up again. You must understand something. The Terrascaper gift changed us. Your technology didn't just shape our planets, it shaped our minds. We became capable of building wonders too quickly. Our evolution accelerated without wisdom to guide it. Aaron felt the weight of his own guilt. We never meant for that to happen. We wanted to help. And you did, the Chancellor said, but we misused that help. A low hum spread through the plaza. Millions of Zenithians touched their foreheads in unison. Evelyn felt the hairs on her arms rise. What is this? She muttered. The Chancellor raised a glowing device, a shimmering prism containing a swirling white core. This is our Ascension Matrix, the weapon you feared, the one that destroyed your outpost. He paused. It was not meant to kill. It was meant to erase entire histories, to reset planets into blank slates so we could reshape them for ourselves. Marcus's face hardened. That's worse. It is why we stopped, the Chancellor said softly. We stood on the edge of annihilating not just your world, but our own conscience. He turned the device toward the crowd. Zenithians, he called out. Today, the cycle of fear ends. The crowd bowed their heads as one. Aaron whispered to Evelyn, something huge is coming. And then, the Chancellor crushed the Ascension Matrix in his hand. A blinding wave of light exploded across the plaza, but it wasn't destructive. It washed over the Horizon crew like warm sunlight, leaving no harm, only an overwhelming sense of calm, like a cleansing of the atmosphere itself. The Zenithians shimmered, their bodies glowing with soft white pulses. Lily stared. What's happening to them? The Chancellor spoke. We choose peace. We choose humility. We choose to return what is yours. Evelyn blinked. Return? What? Every star system you terraformed. Every world we claimed. We give it back to Earth. Marcus was stunned. Why? After you defeated us? Because conquest was never strength, the Chancellor said. Restraint is. He stepped closer. And because you, humans, showed mercy first. Evelyn frowned. We didn't show mercy. We fought back. No, the Chancellor said. You could have used your Terrascaper cores to collapse our systems. But you didn't. You fought to defend, not destroy. He extended a crystalline hand toward Evelyn. We honor that. The Zenithian millions lowered themselves to their knees. For the first time in Earth's interstellar history, an entire civilization had surrendered not out of defeat, but out of understanding. Later, standing on the Horizon's observation deck, Aaron stared at the blue arc of Zenith Prime beneath them. I never thought I'd see this day, he said. A war ending with forgiveness. Evelyn exhaled softly. Neither did I. Lily leaned against the window, her voice gentle. Maybe this is what the Terrascaper program was always meant to do. Not just build new worlds, but heal broken ones. Marcus nodded reluctantly. Maybe peace is the real victory. Aaron smiled faintly. Worlds can be rebuilt. Trust can be rebuilt. But forgiveness, that's the rarest thing in the universe. Evelyn placed her hand on the glass. 1,000 stars reflected in her eyes.